I'm going to quickly show you some of the features within Google Slides. For me, the easiest way to get to Google Slides is by first logging in to my Google Drive and then clicking on the red New button and then selecting Google Slides. This will take me to a brand new presentation in Google Slides. The first thing that I would want to do is rename my presentation because the default name is Untitled Presentation. I can rename it by clicking anywhere in this box and typing in the name that I want. Now that my file is named, I might decide that I'm not sure that widescreen would be the best fit for the devices that my students are going to be using. So I can change the size of the screen by choosing File and then Page Setup. Standard works better for me. Now, if I don't like this plain black and white theme, then I can choose from the themes on the right side of the screen. I can scroll through the menu options to see if there's one that I like, and then just click it, and it will automatically change your presentation to that theme. So, to add my title, I just click anywhere in the box. Alright, now I have the title done, but I need to go ahead and add some other information. To choose from the other slide formats, I can click the New Slide button or New Slide with Layout. If I click the drop-down button, then it will show me the other layout choices like section header, title and body, title and 2 columns, and so forth. I'm just going to choose blank. This gives me a little bit more control over where the text boxes go, and I can arrange the slide a way that I'm more comfortable with. So, once you have your new slide, there are a couple of things that you can do. My idea is that I'm going to create a book where my students can count to 10. So I would like to include a 10 frame. Now, one of the options that I can choose from the Insert menu is Table. You'll notice that also one of the top menu options is Table, Insert Table. So you can actually do this two different ways. I'm going to use Insert Table. You can drag the cells to whatever size you'd like. I'm going to choose 5 by 2. Now, I can drag this table anywhere on the slide. You'll notice the handy formatting lines that pop up to show me where the center of the page is, so I can make sure to get it just the way I want it. If I don't like the size of the boxes, I can always hit Enter to make them bigger. So now I have my basic 10-frame skeleton. If I want to add some text to this screen, then I would need to add a text box. So I can also choose Insert Text Box. Now I can draw a text box anywhere on the screen and type in it. If I don't like the font that is set for the default setting, I can simply highlight the font and click the drop-down arrow under Arial. Then I can choose a font that I like better. I can choose from any of these, or I can click More Fonts. And from here you can sort by display fonts, handwriting, monospace, serif, or sans serif. Since this is a project for students, I'm going to choose handwriting. Pick a font that you like, then click OK. Now my font is set to the one that I liked. I can make it bigger by clicking the number next to the font and dragging it to a larger size until I'm happy with it. Now, if I wanted this to be centered in the text box, I can choose the Align option and then click Center. Now it's nice and centered. If I decide maybe that's not the best font for me, I can always change that back. Alright, now I have the text that I want my students to read and where they will fill in their answer. I want to give them something that they can count to give them a little more structure. So I can go back to my Insert menu and I can insert a shape that they could use to drag into their 10 frame. So now I have a shape that they could use if they wanted to. If I want to change the color of the shape, I can go up to the bucket icon where it says Fill Color and choose a better color. If I want to change the line, the border around the shape, I click on the pencil icon next to the bucket, and it changes my border to yellow. If I want the line to be thicker, I can select line weight and drag it to a larger size. So now my students have something that they could use to count for their 10 frame. If I decide maybe I don't want a shape, I can always delete it. If I highlight the shape and then right click, I can choose cut. So now it's gone. If I decide that I want to actually include a picture for my students to count, there are a couple ways I can do that. I could select the image icon, or I could go back to my insert image. Here, you can take a snapshot of yourself, you can search for a certain website, you can choose from your photo albums from Google Drive or from your computer, or you could simply click search, and then it will automatically search Google Images for you. Notice that the results are already filtered for commercial reuse with modifications, so you don't have to worry about any copyright infringement. I like this penny, so I'm going to select it and then choose Select. Now the image has appeared on my slide, I can resize it by hovering over the little box in the corner and dragging it down to a size that might work better for my students. I can also insert a line if I want to separate the text from the 10 frame. By clicking Insert Line, I can choose from any of these line types. I'm just going to stick to a traditional line. I can edit the line color and the line weight the same way I did for the image. If I decide I don't like the line, I can always select the line, right-click, cut. The other thing I can insert to my presentation is a video from YouTube. So if I click Insert Video, if I know the name of a video that I'm looking for, like Let's Count to 10, I can type that right here in the search bar. If I click on the video, yes, that's the one I want, I can choose Select, and it will embed that video right in my slide. If I decide I just want it to be very small, this is something my students can do after they finish their counting activity. I can make it smaller or larger and move it anywhere on the slide. So now when my students get their book of 10, they can come into the first slide, they can add their name, they can choose a number from 1 to 10. I can count to 2, so they can fill in the line, highlight 2. Then they could count out 2 of whatever image I selected by selecting the image, right-click, copy, right-click, paste, and then dragging the images to wherever they would like. If they get finished, they could watch the movie. The other thing I could do is duplicate my slide so that there's one slide for each number from 1 to 10. You can do so by just clicking anywhere on the slide over here on the left, and then choose Duplicate Slide. And then you can even click the Redo button to duplicate it however many times you want. I could go back through and change each one of the videos to whichever number was on the screen. I could have the numbers typed so that they know this page is for 3, this page is for 4, and so forth. Or I could leave a blank and they could choose a number, type it, and then make the images match. I could choose different images for each number if I wanted to by choosing Replace Image. So now there's a toy car. Another thing I could do if I decide maybe I don't want to go in numeric order, I want to start with 5, I can simply hold down the slide and drag it up until it says move one slide and then drop it, and now it is in a different location. The beauty of using Google Slides, just like all the Google Docs, Google Forms, and everything, is that it's automatically saving all the time. So you never have to worry about lost work. You don't have to remember if you click Save. So all changes saved in Drive. If before I send this to my student, I want to share it with one of my colleagues to make sure that it's what we talked about during our planning, I can click the blue Share button and then type in the name of the colleague that I want to share it with. If I just want them to be able to view the presentation and not make changes to it, I could select Can View. If I wanted them to be able to comment on the presentation but not be able to make changes on it, I could select Can Comment. Or if I want her to be able to go ahead and change things, I can select Can Edit. I can even send her a note. And then I could just simply click the blue Send button. So now this document is shared with one person. Before I would send it to my students, I would want to make sure that I did a spell check to make sure that I didn't misspell anything. And there are no more spelling suggestions. So I am ready to post this into my Google Classroom.